Mossop, just the person I wanted to see. I've got something for you.
Have you? What could that be, Mr. Grimley?
A present.
A present for me? Oh, you shouldn't have.
I was tidying my attic, and I found something that I thought you might like.
Oh, goodness me. That's the biggest egg I've ever seen, that is. I wouldn't like to meet the hen that laid that.
It's not an egg. It's a ball.
I don't like to disagree, Mr. Grimley, but it's definitely not a ball. Balls are round, everybody knows that.
Well, most balls are round, I'll grant you that. But this is a rugby ball, and it's used for playing a game called rugby.
Rugby? Nope, never heard of it.
No, it's great fun. I used to play it a lot when I was younger. I used to be in the school team, and we had a special song that we used to sing just before all the matches.
Really?
Oh, rugby, rugby, how I love that name. Rugby, rugby, and there's no other game. Well, you pass and catch, you run around, wrestle opponents to the ground. Tackle them high, tackle them low, pick up the ball and away you go. Rugby, rugby, now that's the game we love. Rugby, rugby, you'll have to push and shove. You kick the ball, you dodge and dance, you don't give the other side half a chance. You tackle them low, tackle them high, dash for the line and you've scored a try. Rugby, rugby, how we love that name. Rugby, rugby, there's no other game.
Oh, Mr. Grimley, it does seem to be a rather rough game, doesn't it? I mean, what's all this tackle them high, tackle them low business?
Yeah, well, a tackle's when you try and stop the other side from running off with the ball. I'll show you. Look, you've got the ball.
No, I haven't.
And you're going to run off, and I'm going to try and stop you.
Well, run off?
All right, go on in, run off.
OK.
Go on.
I don't know what's going
Go
on here. All right, I'm going.
Ah!
Oh. Well, I was right, Mr. Grimley. It is a violent game.
Well, I suppose it is, but it's really quite enjoyable, isn't it? I'll tell you what, you try and tackle me now.
What?
Come on.
All right, hang on. Here I come.
You're going to have to tackle harder than that.
Right, Mr. Grimley, you asked for it. Geronimo! There, Mr. Grimley. Is that better?
You're quite strong for a little one, aren't you? Do you know you'd make a good rugby player?
I think I could quite take to this game, Mr. Grimley. Well, what else do you do apart from tackling?
Well, you pass it. That's when you throw it to each other. Oh, and you can kick it, of course.
Kick it, Mr. Grimley? Must be a difficult ball to kick, in my opinion. I mean, it wouldn't roll like a proper round ball does, would it? It would go bobbling around all over the place.
Yeah, but you don't kick it along the ground like you do in ordinary football. You kick it in the air, like this.
Oh, that was a near thing and no mistake.
What's going on?
Oh, well, I was just teaching Moss about to play rugby. Can we have our ball back, please? I found it while I was tidying my attic.
Oh, you've been doing some tidying as well, have you? I've been trying to sort the mess out in the greenhouse, and I nearly jumped out of my skin when this thing slammed against the window.
We're very sorry, Marjorie, that we are. But there you are. No harm done, eh? No windows smashed.
Not this time. But I think if you're going to carry on playing rugby, you better go and play it somewhere else.
Oh, perhaps you're right, Miss Storr. I know. We could go and play in my garden. Come on, Mossop.
Yeah. Whoa! Go, where?
Mossop, where are you? Is that you, Mossop? Mossop, stop playing silly games.
Boo!
Oh, who's that?
Me!
Who's me?
It's Middler.
Where are you? I can't see you.
I'm right next to you, but you can't see me because I've made myself invisible.
Stop teasing. You can't make yourself invisible. You're hiding in the bushes somewhere, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm right next to you, and I'll prove it. What? Can you feel this?
Ow! Oh, who did that?
I did. I told you I could make myself invisible, didn't I? I was standing right next to you all the time, but you couldn't see me.
It's amazing. I've never met a Riddler who could make himself invisible before. I didn't know it was possible.
Well, I dare say you roots down Riddlers can't do it, but us Wanderers can. We're taught how to make ourselves invisible when we're very young, but it's not easy. One day, my grandfather tried to teach me how it was done. Sit perfectly still and feel happy, he said. Think of nothing at all. Don't think about the pond where you might go fishing or about your dinner. Think of nothing at all, and you will become invisible. So I sat perfectly still and tried not to think of the pond. But no matter how hard I tried not to, I could hear the sound of the fish rising in the water. After a bit, I opened an eye and looked at my grandfather. He'd opened an eye and was looking at me. I can still see you, he said. You are thinking about the pond. Well, I can still see you, said I. I was thinking about you, thinking about the pond, said my grandfather. So we closed our eyes again and tried to think of nothing and become invisible. But my mother was cooking close by, and the smell of hot pasties drifted under our noses. I opened an eye and looked at my grandfather, and he opened an eye and looked at me. Well, he said, no one could be expected to become invisible at a time like this. So we went and had our dinner. After we'd eaten, we went to sit behind the cart. We certainly felt happy, but we couldn't stop thinking about the pasties and how good they'd been. It just didn't work. All right, he went on. Since we have not been able to make ourselves invisible while feeling happy, perhaps feeling unhappy will do the trick. So we closed our eyes and tried again. But feeling unhappy didn't work either. In fact, my grandfather seemed to be more visible than ever before. In the end, we gave up for the night. But on the way back home, a strange thing occurred. We saw Uncle Moot sitting on the handle of his cart. Aunt Pitty was fussing about him, saying, "The winter blankets will soon need washing, and your boots need a dubbing, and furthermore..." And as she spoke, we saw my Uncle Moot slowly fade from sight with a happy little smile on his face. "He's always disappearing," said my Aunt Pitty, but she seemed to think very little of my uncle's vanishing trick. "So that's how it's done," said my grandfather. "You have to be driven and nagged into invisibility." Well, that evening I said I didn't want to bother being invisible. And my grandfather kept saying how useful it was. And he kept on and on and on at me all evening. And when it came to be my bedtime, he couldn't find me. I'd been nagged into invisibility too. That was my first time. And since then, I've learnt to do it whenever I want.
Gosh, it must be wonderful to be able to make yourself invisible. Could you give me a lesson in how to do it? Oh, please?
I can't. When finally I learnt how to do it, I had to promise not to teach anyone how it's done. Well, I can't break my promise, can I?
No, I suppose not. Still, I wish I could become invisible any time I wanted to.
Oh, you'd have lots of fun. You can play all sorts of tricks when you're invisible. Shall I show you?
Oh, not a mean sort of trick.
Oh, no. A funny one. I've got to give somebody a surprise.
Who?
Well, how about Marjorie? She's got a good sense of humour, hasn't she?
Oh, yes. She likes a good joke.
Yeah. Well, then she's sure to enjoy this. Come on, let's see if she's still in the greenhouse. I said, come on.
Ow! Hello, Marjorie. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just tidying up things a bit, really. They've got into a bit of a mess lately. What was that?
What was what?
Well, it felt as if someone just brushed past me. Oh, I can't have done. It's only you and me in here. Did you see that?
See what, Marjorie?
That plant pot moved on its own.
Plant pots can't move by themselves.
No, I know they can't. Must have imagined it. I can't believe this. This can't be happening. I could almost believe this place was haunted, but I don't believe in ghosts. Tiddler, what is going on?
Going on, Marjorie?
Yes, you know what this is about, don't you?
Yes, it's a trick. Middler and I thought it would make you laugh.
Oh, Middler, eh? I might have known. Is he in here somewhere?
You'll never spot him, Marjorie. He's invisible.
What?
Yes, wanderers can make themselves invisible whenever they want to. But I never knew until Middler told me.
Do you mean to say that he's in here and we can't actually see him?
Yes.
Middler?
I'll be off then. Bye-bye.
There he goes, Marjorie. He's gone outside.
Invisible wanderers. Whatever next?
I hope you don't mind us playing a trick on you. We thought it would be a good joke.
It was a good joke. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw those things moving about.
So you're not angry?
No, I'm not angry. Go on, run along now. I've got work to do here. And I expect Middle will want you to help him play tricks on somebody else.
Middler, wait for me.
Oh, watch where you're going.
I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Oh, that was a silly thing to say, wasn't it?
Yes, it was really. That was a good trick I played on Marjorie, don't you think? I told you it was fun making yourself invisible.
I do wish I could do it. Oh, what was that?
Look out, Tiddler! Oh, it's mine! Oh. Get off! You're hurting me!
Well, I'm sorry, Mossop. I didn't mean to hurt you.
You're not hurting me.
But you said I was.
No, I didn't.
Well, somebody did.
Get off! You're squashing me!
It's Middler.
Where?
I think you must be lying on top of him.
Well, now you come to mention it, it does feel a bit bumpy down here, but I can't see Middler anywhere.
Oh, there you are, Middler. I didn't know you played rugby.
I'll tell you something, Middler. It may be fun being invisible, but I don't think I'd like to try it after all.